Neil, not the result you were looking for, but you said yourself a much better performance against Borough.
Yeah, well, particularly second half. We came on really strong, and we were on the front foot for large parts of the second half, and we were disappointed not to get something out of the game. So that was encouraging, considering the previous performance was nowhere near the level that we expect from the players. So it's 3 defeats out of 4, 4 out of 5, whatever you want to look at it. So we're not in a great run of form, but one that can be turned around very quickly, I think.
Despite the recent results, do you feel like you're getting a response from your players and getting what you expect out of them?
Well, if you look at the games that we've lost, Derby were too strong for us. We were poor against Nottingham Forest. We were excellent against Watford and pretty good the other night. So it's been a bit of mixed bags in terms of performances. Just trying to find consistency, but more importantly, trying to find a win. A win away from home. We haven't done that since Sheffield Wednesday, but we're just, in terms a little bit light when it comes to the physicality with the bodies that we've had missing. But we're getting a few back now, which is really important with the running coming. Yeah,
and I guess the position in the table, is it a massive concern for you, or do you think that maybe your fortunes will change soon?
No, I think our fortunes will change soon. I'll be glad to see the back of February. It was always going to be a tough month, whether we had everyone fit or not. It's interesting that I'd be interested to see where we would be if we had a full, not a full quota, but maybe 3 or 4 back in that period, to see where we would be in terms of challenging these top teams. At the minute, we are definitely a little bit short. Now, whether that's to do with the lack of bodies or the lack of quality, we're still trying to work that one out. But it gives us, we're very, very motivated to be successful here. We want to finish the season as strongly as we can, make sure we consolidate ourselves in the Championship, and then look to really build for next year.
Do you see it as a relegation battle as it stands, or is it too sort of early to say that? Really?
No, it's too early to say that, but obviously, even when we were going well, people were saying you're doing very well, but you're always looking over your shoulder. So we're very mindful of that. 6 points can be turned into 12, or it can be turned into none. So again, we're careful, but looking at the run-in, our home games look very, very winnable, between now and the end of the season. So, and I think we can pick up points away from home as well.
And these 2 home games against Brighton and Reading, really good opportunity for yourselves to pick up some points.
Yeah, good opportunity to get it back out playing well, get playing at home in front of the crowd and winning games. And the games are winnable, obviously, as well.
I know you were particularly impressed with Emile against Middlesbrough, and his leadership qualities, something you were particularly pleased to see at the weekend against Borough.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. I thought he led the line brilliantly. I thought he dominated their centre halves, and I can see he's got the bit between the teeth. He was really aggressive, and there was real hunger about his play, and he made us better. He made us stronger. I was delighted with his performance.
He was given the captain's armband as well, wasn't he? I mean, did you have an idea of a set captain, or did you work that way as a manager, or do you go about it whoever impresses you week by week?
Well, Millsy, would be the club captain at the minute, but we give the armband to Eider, and then when Eider came off, he must have passed it on to Emile. So I think these guys can take on the responsibility, or they should be able to take it on with the experience that they have.
Yeah,
and I think the players respect them as well, which is always important.
Yeah, and like you said last week, it's really important to have those leaders, isn't it, in the squad and on the field, like Ida, like Emile, to really give the squad a boost.
Yeah, no matter what situation you find yourself in or what club you're at, you need leaders, architects in the dressing room, to define what way you want to go and have a set way of playing, or a discipline within the squad and a respect within the squad, and you need some players to set those standards, and I think we're getting 1 or 2 now.
How do you think Ben Amos has come along in goal as well since he came to the club?
I thought he was excellent the other night. I thought there was a composure and a calmness about him, considering he hadn't played for a while and hadn't played with the players before. His kicking was excellent, his distribution was excellent, so he's coming for crosses. There was real presence about him in the goal, and it gives the team confidence. So he can be very pleased with his debut.
Do you think he's done enough to maybe claim that number 1 spot, or is it a bit too early to tell?
Well, it's too early to say, obviously, but we'll keep his place for tomorrow. And at the minute we've got our first two choice goalkeepers out, so having Ben here was very welcome.
Speaking of Andy Lonergan, how is he at the moment in time?
Well, he's still having headaches. He's still having problems with his neck as well. So the concussion obviously won't be available for the weekend. He may be available for Tuesday, but we'll have to see, because he was complaining of headaches yesterday, which obviously isn't a good sign. And
anybody else available to return? I know you spoke last week about Tim Ree maybe being available for this weekend.
Yeah, Tim will train today, and obviously Matt Mills will come back in as well. So again, we're starting to look a little bit stronger.
How's Craig Davis doing at this moment in time?
Well, he's out on the training ground now. This has been a long rehab from a hamstring injury, considering the extent of it. We're hoping he'll be training at some stage next week with a view to playing some part in a bounce game, towards the end of next week, and then hopefully we'll have him up and running then for the end of the season as well, which again will boost us. Yeah,
do you have to be a bit careful when it comes to Craig? We spoke about it last week, but with the injuries that he's had, and like you said, it keeps on coming back and cropping back up with this injury, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have to be a bit careful with it?
Yeah, you have to, but how careful can you be? We've been as careful as we can. The problem is it's a hamstring injury, and these injuries tend to reoccur sometimes, and certainly that's been the case in Craig's experience. And do you be careful with his rehab? Well, yeah, I mean, we've had him out on the grass, but he still doesn't look right. He's been scanned 2 or 3 times now, and it's still not healing as quickly as what we'd expect it to, or as what we'd want it to.
And just looking ahead to Brighton, they've obviously had not the best of seasons, but they've had a bit of a resurgence in recent weeks, especially I think they've not lost 4 on the bounce, haven't they? So what do you make of what they'll bring to the Macron on the weekend?
Well, knowing Chris, it'll be hard to break down. It'll be well organised and well set up, and want to hit you on the counter-attack. He's excellent at setting his teams up to be hard to beat, so it might be a case of us trying to knock the door down and trying to be impatient, obviously. I want us to just get back to playing with the freedom that we've shown before. Obviously, when results go against you, there can be a confidence thing coming. I've not seen too much evidence of that yet, but it'll be important to get back to winning ways. Although there are a lot of teams around us in worse form than ourselves, but you can only concentrate on what we're trying to do, and the most important thing will be to try and win the game tomorrow.
And you feel like the players being at home will help the players feel more comfortable about playing sort of more freely, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think we've looked comfortable at home. I think we've played well. I think we've looked strong. And the Watford game was our first defeat since October. So, I mean, that's very good consistency at home. And the performance itself was probably as good as we played at home. And it was a cracking game of football. So, if we adopt the right attitude and the same approach as we did then I think we should be in for a good day.
And any fresh injury concerns out of the Borough game? Did everyone come out of it okay? Or?
Yeah, no, we're all fine, thankfully. It makes a nice change.
Fantastic.